everyone.
Good evening. Welcome to the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, October 17th. We'll begin with a salute to the flag, please. All right, thank you. Mr. Takita had to run out because there's a family emergency, so he's not with us tonight. Mr. Galloway, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Borowski.
Here.
Mr. Palmer.
Here.
Ms. Mullen.
Here.
Mr. Dance.
Here?
And I am here.
All right. This is actually the first time in a long time that I've been here that all five of us have been here in person, since probably sometime in 2019 or before, right? All right, item one, we'll begin with public comment. I have Tony Batiste on the resident list.
Good evening. Coming from a very wet football game in Macclesfield, so although Business Route 1 and Wilson Drive are state roads, could the township petition the state to reline these roads with paint that is visible at night? It would help our township be safer, particularly on dark, rainy nights. Thank you.
That's it? All right, that's it for the, any other residents here to speak? Oh, one more, go ahead. Yeah. State your name, please, and where you live, if you would.
My name's Teresa Stallone, and I live in Village of Nottingham. And I am fed up with Tyburn Road. I've had it up to here. 20 years, I've had enough. I work in Trenton, me and my husband both do. I get off at the Route 13, I come up the ramp there, and I can't even get in my street because I live on Franklin Street, which is the first street, and I'm number 1 Franklin Street. Good luck to me. I can't get out in the morning. I can't. That needs to be made stop signs, not yellow signs. And you guys can make a fortune if you.
Yeah, that's the state. That's not the township.
Well, so who do I go to?
John Galloway's office, I would start at.
All right, because
Yeah.
and there's trucks in the middle of the night with who do I go to about that? Those with air horns. They don't need that anymore.
Are they using the air horns or the brakes, you mean?
The brakes in the middle of the night on Tyburn Road.
Yeah.
I can see when the mill was there, but it's not.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah,
it's bad.
The stop signs you're talking about the ones going on to 13.
So they come
Well,
off.
either one,
Yeah.
they're both state roads.
Okay, because I'm coming down Tyburn because I get off the ramp right there, and I literally today I had a semi that, they don't let you in. There's no yielding. I look in their windows and I'm looking right. I'm like, really? Let me in?
Yeah.
So go to.
I would start with the state representative or the state senator, yeah.
All right, I'm just fed up with Tyburn Road.
Yeah, it's bad.
I have the same issue. I live right there, you know that, but, we stopped doing DOT work on that road, like probably almost a year ago now. As a township, we used to at least had a DOT officer out there doing truck inspections and trying to enforce it. I see it every morning. The stop signs are getting ran. You get run off the road. It happens every day to me too.
I know. Well, the other thing is that Montessori school. If I would have known where that entrance was going to be, because that's a problem. It's right even with Franklin Street, my street. And in the morning, it is really bad. And what the people do, what I see, blows my mind, But, so all of that's the state?
They're state roads, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed because
Good
I've
luck.
been trying. I know, I've been trying for a long time.
I email too, so I'm on it. I see the same stuff.
So you're gonna
We
come
have to
with,
get back out there, get our cops back on the street right there, at least to show presence, because there is none.
and the speed they are going is crazy, And
Agreed.
not that but yeah. So, and my street's very busy, Franklin. Like
The entrance to the neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I can't even get out of my driveway because it's so bad, but, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other residents? All right, on the non-resident list, we have Teresa Catalinas.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi. Good evening. I just wanted to mention that we have a job fair on Wednesday, October 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's at Westaby Hall. That's at 425 Hood Boulevard. And we have 40 employers signed up, and we have over 600 jobs available. It's a great opportunity to come out and meet with HR people and recruiters and possibly do on-the-spot interviews and hear right away rather than, applying for a job and not hearing for weeks or months at a time. There are job opportunities in healthcare, education, transportation, manufacturing, food service, banking, retail, pretty much anything you can think of, there's a job for you. Any questions?
That was 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesday the 19th,
Yes.
425 Hood Boulevard
Yep.
at Westaby Hall. You
Yes.
got it.
Teresa,
you.
Do we
this is,
have, just real quick, one question. Do we have about the same amount of businesses coming out as we did before?
The first time I only had 38 because that's what the fire hall said they could accommodate, but I know that we can have 40 just because we had additional tables and that's what we can hold, so we've got 40.
Do we have 40 commitments?
40 commitments, yes.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
question for you. When you were out there last time, how was the showing? I mean, what drove you to do a second one and so close?
Well, last time we had more employers that wanted to come and we didn't have enough space. I had a wait list of like 6 or 8 people after I closed it, and that's the case this time too. The challenge is getting people out that want jobs. There's lots of jobs. It's just a matter of finding the right people. And we did have people come out last time, but the traffic was slow, and I'm hoping that this time will be better. I worked with a lot of the state reps in the county to kind of get the word out all over, various channels. So hopefully we'll have a better showing this time.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. That's it for public comment. That takes us to item number 2, NP Falls Township Industrial LLC, preliminary and final land development, 10 Solar Drive. Mr. McGinnis, how are you?
I'm well. How are you this evening?
Very well.
Good. Good evening, Mike McGinnis on behalf of North Point here tonight. This development, which is in front of you, I was going to say on the screen in front of you, I don't know that that screen is on, but it relates to a proposed construction of a 115,200 square foot salt storage structure for Morton Salt. So this is part of what we describe as the mother parcel for North Point, the 13-051-001 parcel. And Morton Salt presently leases approximately 120,000 square foot of space from North Point. When the new 115,000 square foot building is constructed, the portion of the prior lease with North Point will expire, and then at that point we would demolish the existing space for Morton Salt, and that will facilitate North Point being able to move forward with a more cohesive development for the next phase of their development project. This isn't really a building. We have it listed as a building, but it's sort of an enclosure. It's basically like a giant salt barn, so it's not going to be occupied, but you can see it depicted now in the plan that's in front of you. What I would suggest is have Peyton, who's with me from North Point, give a bit of an explanation to the board about what this project is and how it correlates to the broader North Point development. And then I have Greg Glitzer, who's here with me from Gilmore & Associates, who can go through the site plan if that's desired. We do have 5, I think, relatively standard waiver requests.
Yeah, so my name is Peyton Harrison with North Point. And like Mike was saying, Morton leases their current lease where this building is at with us, and then they have another lease with us on a different part of the overall Keystone plan, and that's the part that they will be vacating. So they have a 118,000 square foot in a current building, and that building, once Morton moves to this new facility, will that building will be coming down to make way for another phase of development there at Keystone. I will add that this building, this 115,000 square foot storage facility, is part of their current lease. So the adjacent buildings, the 2 shown here, is where Morton currently is. So they are just adding another building to their current lease to make storage more convenient for them there. And the overall plan, it'll be paved around there, and then the building will be covered. And Greg can, I'll let him answer some more questions over the site plan if you guys have any regarding that.
Sure. This is actually Lot 6 on the subdivision plan that you approved probably last year or a year ago in the spring. There's no new subdivision associated with it. Building's a pre-engineered fabric structure, so it's got a rigid steel frame, and it's lined on the outside and on the inside for corrosion protection. So it's a big open air, rigid tent, basically. We are proposing stormwater management. Where none really exists right now, there is existing pavement out in this area. So we think the provision of a bioretention area in this zone here captures all the runoff, treats it for runoff rate, volume, and quality. So we're expecting a bit of an environmental uplift to the receiving wetland area in this area. So pretty straightforward. Paved apron around the structure. And again, kind of covering up some of the incidental salt that gets tracked out into that area right now. So pretty straightforward, we think. Do you want to cover the waivers, or
If the board would like.
The waivers are pretty straightforward. We'll go with questions. Any questions from you, Mr. Galloway?
No questions.
No
Mr.
question.
Brasky? Ms. Mullen?
Sorry, I did want you to walk through the waivers if you
Okay,
could.
that's fine.
Sure. We can take these in tandem, Greg. So we have 191, 52, 1, C2, well, technically, depending on how it's couched, I'll be consistent with Mr. Jones' review letter. 191, 52, 1, B1A, which relates to disturbance of the floodplain. And Greg, you can coordinate this with FEMA, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's the pad that's created for the building has a slight encroachment. I'm going to pop up the grading plan. Oops. Excuse me. But this little corner here is the earth fill encroachment for the surrounding access drives. It's just a small incidental floodplain encroachment, and there's also a small encroachment down on this area here. So we have to pursue a no net fill in the floodplain, so our basin actually helps to mitigate the floodplain encroachment there.
Can you explain that in non-engineering speak, Mr. Jones?
Essentially, the approach is that where they put fill into a floodplain area, they provide compensatory storage on-site, local, elsewhere. So it's a net balance.
Where we put
They made up for it over here to fix what's over there. All right.
where we put a pile, we dig a hole somewhere else. So it's pretty non-engineering.
And then, Greg, I think it probably makes sense to cover the wetland waivers as well, because it probably warrants a similar brief conversation. And those are specifically waivers from 191, 52, 1, B8A, and 191, 52, 1, B8B.
Okay, so we're not proposing any encroachment into the wetlands, but we are asking for a waiver of the wetland margin, both in the lateral dimension and in the amount that we can disturb. Basically, for the site that right now is paved almost right up to the edge of the woodlands, if we were to kind of basically redevelop that, we need that waiver, even to rework some of the paved area. Again, routing all the runoff through a bioretention facility, we think has probably a greater benefit than just providing the wetland buffer as the subdivision ordinance requires. But we do need that little bit of encroachment there.
Mr. Jones, do you agree that it's a greater benefit?
I agree that a wetland margin at that location with that use, this is a better enhancement because it prevents the runoff from actually bleeding off of the pavement and into the wetlands, even though the margin is 100 feet. And I think that your maximum encroachment isn't significant. It's just less than that. So yes, the answer is yes. I believe that routing the runoff into the bioretention and controlling it there will prevent salt-laden runoff from relying on, as Mr. Glitzer said, a marginal buffer.
Thank you.
And then the other two waivers are the existing features waivers, and then I think a 0.37 acre woodland disturbance waiver, which we routinely have as part of North Point's applications there.
All right.
And just put up the landscape plan. You can see the basin plantings. It's our intention to get this panned up a little bit more. Heavily plant that basin, trees, wetland ground cover, and shrubs as well. So we're kind of replicating the function of that wetland buffer, and also replicating or providing stormwater management where it really doesn't exist.
All right, any other questions? Mr. Palmer?
Yes, can you explain what a bioretention basin is?
Boy, probably not an non-engineering term, but it's a basin or an excavated area that has, in our case, we have a liner at the bottom, and we fill that back in with a very rich organic soil mix. And the intention is we heavily plant that, but we route all our stormwater runoff from it or through it. So not only do you have the sort of the flood impact or flood attenuating benefits, but you get water quality benefits from it as well. So you're basically almost recreating a wetland artificially.
Okay.
So it's designed to hold water, so it'll hold it and very slowly release it out and under drain. You may also hear in smaller contexts called a rain garden.
Okay, with the salt, is that going to affect the runoff in this bioretention basin? I mean,
No, the intention really is with the storage structure is that all is covered now. So we will have a lot less exposure to the surface runoff to any sort of incidental salts.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
All right, what about the fire marshal's letter? Are you aware of that situation where you're required to have a road around the entire property and you only have it on 3 sides?
we do have surrounding access. Maybe we have to clarify that on that plan, but there is a pavement surround around the whole thing. So
There is.
yes,
So a fire truck can get all the way around?
yes,
Okay. I guess that wasn't clear. I just saw his letter.
it might not have been.
Any questions from Mr. Jones or Mr. Clark?
No question.
All right, is there a motion to open public comment? Is there any public comment needed? I don't see any hands, so. Anything else, Mr. McGinnis?
That is all, thank you.
All right, and this will be
Resolution 122.
30. Yeah, we got that. Thanks. Is there a motion to approve preliminary and final land development?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Item 3, Waste Management Incorporated preliminary and final land development, 100 New Ford Mill Road.
Good evening, Mike McGinnis. Again, on behalf of Waste Management. This is a project located at the 13-47-128 parcel in the township that what I would suggest is give a bit of an introduction on my end, have Dave Allen, who was just up here, walk through the site plan for a moment, and then have Eric on Waste Management's end explain the project, because I think this is, you know, one that we're very proud of, and we think the township can be proud of, and that we're excited to discuss this evening. So I know I can be long-winded. I'll probably be a little more long-winded than normal, because I think this project warrants it. What we're looking to do, and we can go through the site plan momentarily, is construct 2 renewable natural gas facilities, and the structures will each be approximately 20,000 square feet. These are contained within Waste's approximately 47-acre parcel. This project is going to deliver an incredibly positive benefit, I think, to the township and its residents and to the community writ large. I discussed at the Planning Commission, but I will reiterate it this evening, that we are estimating that we will be able to prevent 170,000 tons of CO2 emissions annually as a result of this and the construction of these 2 facilities. This is going to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions here. This project will offer Waste Management the ability to decommission the 5 enclosed flares at this site. There's going to be an approximately $90 million investment in the township at this location with the project, which is going to add a number of new good jobs in the community. We hope this will be operational by 2024, and it's part of a broader plan that Waste Management is undertaking beyond Falls Township, really throughout the country. But I believe it's accurate to state that this is the largest investment in the region with respect to new state-of-the-art renewable natural gas facilities. So this is something that I know Waste has been looking at for a number of years, and they're excited to be able to deliver this product here and to Falls Township, given its long-standing relationship with the township. So what I would suggest on our end is have Dave do a bit of an overview of the site plan, and then Eric come up and be able to speak more intelligently than I can about the mechanisms on this location at the site, how this is going to function, and the benefits that this project is going to deliver to everybody.
Good evening. I'm Dave Allen. I'm the Senior Project Manager at EarthRes. I'm the engineer of record for this very exciting project, not only, as Mike mentioned, a high dollar investment, but also a very significant environmental impact and benefit for the community. Just to go through the overview of where this is, just an aerial view of the Fairless complex. So you have the Groves North landfill to the top left, you have the Groves landfill to the south or to the bottom, and then you have the Fairless landfill to the east or to the right-hand side. The 2 plants are rather small. They're 2 identical 20,000 square foot buildings. They are the kind of yellow dots in the middle of the view, directly west of the Wheelabator facility. So now I'll turn to the record plan. So before we get to the actual site features itself, I just want to make note that the parcel is shown in the top right-hand corner. It's 47 acres. It's unusually long. It's actually 4,600 linear feet and 400 foot depth. That's because it used to be the old Turkey Hill Executive Golf Course. So if you go out there today, it's you can even see the old tee-offs and greens, and it's and the trees associated with it. The project is going to be located on the southern portion of the parcel. Waste Management's existing offices are on the north side. So if you're going into the Fairless complex, the administrative offices are located on the north, and then the site, for frame of reference, is down by the cell phone tower, again across the street from Wheelabator. We're proposing approximately 18 acres of disturbance. The site disturbance is approximately 15 acres. The remainder is we're installing a sanitary force main to the north to Turkey Hill office's existing lift station. And then we're also proposing the landfill gas pipeline to the south, which will connect to the existing landfill gas infrastructure by the Exelon, the decommissioned Exelon power plant. You notice our driveway is located directly across from the J&B Group's, they have a truck entrance. We located it there because there's auxiliary lanes for Wheelabrator and also for the J&B Group. So we located that to the south to avoid any kind of conflicts. And you can kind of see the driveway sweeps in into the facility. And as I mentioned, we do have a portion that is paved. That's kind of the darker gray, and then the lighter gray is gravel. As I said, the two facilities are identical, 20,000 square foot. There will be equipment outside to support the conditioning of the landfill gas. As Mike mentioned, we're taking landfill gas, which is approximately 50% methane, and improving that to 90%, so pipeline quality gas. That will be piped to the gas metering station, which is that rectangle on the right-hand side of the site, which will go to Transco, Williams Transco's pipeline, and obviously then used for public consumption. Drainage-wise, the area is quite flat. There is no curb along Route 4 Mill Road. The area just drains off the roadway into the grass area. And then there is a railway bed that runs, again, from south to north, or right to left on the bottom of the site, which basically holds back some of the stormwater. What we're proposing to do is manage that with an infiltration basin. That's that dashed line on the left-hand side of the sheet. It's approximately just under 2 acres, so it's a pretty substantial stormwater feature. That will hold the 2-year storm event. And then anything above the 2-year storm event will be controlled discharge to the old remnants of the Scotts Creek, which is that cross-hatched area along the bottom of the sheet there on the record plan. I can go through more specifics. I mean, I'm certainly happy to answer any specific questions on the site layout or the grading, drainage, any of those elements.
Why don't we, if I can suggest, have, all right, Eric.
Hey. Good evening, everybody. I'm Eric Oling. I'm a project manager at WM, and Mike alluded that I might speak more intelligently about this project, but they've already hit home a lot of good points that we want the community to take away from this project, and that's WM's commitment to sustainability, commitment to the future, and why we're doing this project. It is part of a bigger picture of our company's focus and attention to sustainability. This project, once approved and completed, will represent the largest investment to date of an RNG project by our company. We do operate the largest number of gas-to-energy projects in the country, and this is one where our company is standing behind it. We're the most excited about it, and from our renewable energy group, we like to say we're all in on projects like this. It's also a benefit to the community, as Dave and Mike has said, and this is also owed to the community, we feel like, too. Years ago, when we had the ULE flare, the ultra-low emission flare project, and that is constructed now, we did say that we'll have a beneficial reuse on our property. So this is years of planning and coming up with the best technology, the best innovation, the best resources, the best manufacturers, and the best engineers, kind of all culminating around this project. So we appreciate your time in this evening discussing this project with you.
All right, thank you. Let's, do you have anything to add, Mr. Jones, on this project? Mr. Clark or Ms. Gallagher?
No.
All right, board members, Mr. Galloway, do you have any questions or comments?
I'm sorry. No, it looks like a really wonderful endeavor, and I hope it all goes well.
Mr. Borowski?
As far as the gas goes, is it, when you say for the public, or are you?
Yeah, so it'll be interconnected through the gas utility. So Dave mentioned the utility that we're going with now is Williams Transco. It's an interconnect that goes across the country.
Oh, okay.
So ultimately, we consider it a circular economy as waste management, because we do fuel our trucks with natural gas,
Okay.
but we're not pulling directly off
Okay.
our plant. We're putting it in the pipeline and then pulling it
Oh,
off as an
okay.
end user.
Okay.
So,
Similar to selling energy back to the grid.
correct, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Pipeline quality gas, correct.
Absolutely.
Ms. Mullen?
Yeah, so I'm curious about the process. You're taking,
Right. So,
Methane?
Yep, so landfill gas is roughly 50% methane. The balanced gas is carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen. So basically, through the process, it removes the balanced gas and increases the 50% methane to 98, 99% methane, which is considered pipeline quality natural gas. So
and how do you do that?
pressurizing, depressurizing, heating, cooling.
Is it safe?
Yes, yeah, this is a proven technology. This will be the 6th plant we're building. We have 5 in operation now. It's something other companies are investing into. It's very safe, and obviously, we went over the benefits as far as reducing greenhouse gases and making it a more green technology.
Is it Waste Management's like proprietary process, or is it?
This one, yes, but there is similar technologies out there. But the way we do it with our controls and our manufacturers that we work exclusively with, we make it our own process, yes.
Oh, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
Uh,
I'm not the brains
Does-
behind it all, so.
no, is that you, Dave?
Like I said, there's a culmination of a lot of people behind this project, from our renewable energy group and our site operations people and engineers that we employ internally and externally. It's a group that we work together with. And when I say this has been in design and engineering for years, it really has through other projects. This site specifically, what technology's out there, how can we utilize it the best? How do we make it the most efficient? How do we make it the most beneficial for the community? So it's really going to represent the biggest, the best at the time constructed.
That's great. Does everything go into the pipeline? Is there anything being transported on like a truck or anything like
No,
that? It's all going straight?
The
from-
methane will go into the pipeline, correct?
So from that facility straight to the pipeline to the main pipeline?
Yeah. So it could be pulled off of by anybody.
And then how many jobs do you estimate?
We're estimating 8 to 10 during operation. For construction, it could be upwards of 40, 50 during construction, local jobs.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
For reference, for years, there was an Exelon plant that
Correct.
burned the methane. When that shut down, there was a flare project, and there's flares down there now that are burning it. So
Right.
this is replacing
Yes.
all that.
Right, so we're using it as a benefit instead of burning off the gas now.
So
And Exelon was a little different because it was gas to energy.
Right.
So we took the landfill gas and turned engines and put power on the grid as electricity. This is more efficient, it's a better technology, and we're putting gas into a pipeline as opposed to turning an engine and making electricity. So, you know, a little confusion when we're talking about the project because not everybody's familiar. Myself, I started in May. I wasn't familiar with this technology, but it's a really neat technology.
Mr. Palmer?
A couple things. Get a lot of concern in residents about smell, the smell of the landfill. Is that going to dissipate,
No.
or is that still going to?
No, through the process, there won't be any odors. Actually, our commitment will be stronger odor control. If it is strong now, but it'll be stronger once we have this renewable energy because we want to capture all the methane for the plant. So we have more of a, I don't want to say need, but we will need to capture all the methane we can because methane is money to us at this point when we develop this project.
Methane is money.
How long is this plant going to be in operation?
We have gas curves showing 20, 30 years. So the life of the landfill plus, as long as we can capture quality gas out of the landfill, we will operate this plant.
Okay, with this technology, did you get state funding or grants from the
Not that I'm
federal
aware
government?
of. Not that I'm aware of.
No.
It's all internal.
Okay. That's all I have, thank you.
Yeah, I could be misspeaking. There could be grants out there that our company's pursuing. I personally don't know of any as far as the development of the project.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, in regard to, let's say, the fire marshal's letter, have you seen that one?
Yes, yeah.
talk about the, turning radius. The access road and the fire hydrants.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So we initially ran a WB 50 truck through the site, and then the fire marshal was looking for a 43-foot fire truck. So we did submit that and address that comment.
Okay, and the, access road around the property is gonna be good?
Yes, that, right now we are showing gravel, so I think we need to clarify if gravel is sufficient or if it needs to be paved around the site. But there is access throughout the 360 of the facility.
And if it's not sufficient, you'll make it work?
Correct.
And the number of fire hydrants?
Yes, we are adding fire hydrants.
Okay. Mr. Jones, these, waivers are pretty straightforward. I mean, this is an odd location for us.
They are, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Clark, you have nothing, I guess?
No.
All right, any public comment needed? None? You just like the flares going away and I'm surprised, Mrs. Batiste. All right, and this will be resolution number 2020-31, Mr. Clark?
That's correct. 2022 is it?
Ah, see that. All right, are we doing preliminary and final tonight, or do we want to do preliminary tonight? Mr. Board? I know what you want. I'm okay. They were pretty thorough with their explanation. If the board's okay with preliminary and final, we have a resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck. Thank you,
Congratulations.
guys.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right, I lost my agenda. That takes us to item number 4, consider change order for the 2020 road improvement program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet should be a requested change order from my office for the 2020 road improvement program. As you'll recall, that was the Hedgerow Woods and Burgess Manor portion of the work. This change order is to increase the contract value by $15,910 to cover the costs for providing mill and overlay for North Lafayette Avenue, and that would be the Morrisville side of the road. Similar to what we did with Lower Makefield when we were working in that area, Morrisville initiated conversations with us and asked us to include their portion because it would be at a lower cost.
Yeah.
And so this simply raises the contract value to pay the contractor for the work that they did in Morrisville, with the expectation that Morrisville will reimburse the township that same amount.
Okay. So we're just fronting the money, is basically.
Correct.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Jones from board members?
None.
None.
No.
No.
Any public comment needed? None? All right, is there a motion to approve the change order in the amount of $15,910?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Galloway, can you poll the board?
Yes. Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
Jeff Dennis.
Yes.
And I am yes.
All right, item number 5, consider notice of intent to award the bid for Lincoln Circle Fence Project. This is we own, at the end of Lincoln Circle, if you're not familiar, is the road right, I guess, north of here on Lincoln Highway. The traffic light is Lincoln Circle. At the end is a lot that the township owns that actually connects back here to the township building. We cleaned it up, got rid of all the overgrowth and stuff that was in there, and now we're gonna put a fence around it. We had one bid received from Pro Max Fence Services LLC in the amount of $57,092. Are there any questions for board members? Well, nobody's here from Pro Max, are they? And Mr. Takita's not here. Do we want to table this, or do we want to go ahead with this? We'll table it, right?
Lauren, do you know if we did we budget anything for it?
My understanding
This
is
is a lot
that
higher than we thought, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking, seems odd.
I don't know what the budgeted amount for this was. We did only receive one bid, and the bidder is a qualified and responsive bidder. I'm gonna pull up what I can find on the bid package right now. But the board always has the option of rejecting all
Does
bids.
this qualify under responsible contract ordinance?
It would be a notice of
Goes through
intent to
the
award
process.
subject to the contractor review period.
If we approve it tonight, they would go through start the process,
Correct.
which is item number 6. Or item number 6 would be, yeah.
Well, I was asking only because of the skilled trade, you know?
Yeah, they would have to go through the responsible contractor, for sure.
I'm thinking we should table this until Mr. Tequita's here, I guess, or Mr. Lawson can come and answer some questions. I want to ask for a motion to table.
If you could just give us 10 seconds.
9.
Maybe if you want to move to the next agenda item, we can come back to this one.
It's the same agenda item.
If there is a period of time when the bid must be awarded,
Right.
we may need to reject these bids instead of table it because it may be awarded by
Default.
in terms of by default. So that's what we're taking a look at right now. And again, unfortunately, Mr. Tequita would have had all this information.
It's always nerve-wracking when you see one, like, we don't know what we're looking at, and you see
Yeah, I
one.
don't remember budgeting for this, that's for sure. All right, let's go to item number 7, and we'll revisit this. Consider resolution for the sewage facilities. Consider resolution for the sewage facilities planning module for HIOSSEN. Resolution 2022-32.
Thank you, Mr. Dens. This relates to property at 85 Ben Fairless Drive. And the tax parcel number is, bear with me for 1 second.
13-051-001-020.
Which is on the agenda, thank you. This is a project that relates to a warehouse addition to the property. Because of the size of the addition, the project does have to go through sewage planning with DEP. The township has actually already submitted the required paperwork to DEP, so this would be a ratification of the submission of that paperwork. And it looks like we do have a representative from HIOSSEN tonight to discuss further and answer any questions.
Good evening, Todd Baldwin from Van Cleef Engineering. I'm a civil engineer of record for the project, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant in case there's any questions about this item on the agenda.
All right, can you give us any info on this, Mr. Jones? It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yes, this is a straightforward process. I believe that they're being required to do it due to issues at the sewage treatment plant in Morrisville. It's a small amount of capacity that they need for this addition. I think it's 3 EDUs.
Yeah, about roughly 1,100 gallons per day.
Yeah, so it's a documentation and administrative process that's fairly straightforward. And I spoke with DEP, and I believe it's on their list of things to get to immediately as soon as it's passed tonight.
All right, any questions or comments from board members?
None?
Just, I've been saying HIOSSEN. Is it HIOSSEN?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
All right.
You just cashed our checks, right? Mr. Palmer, anything?
No.
All right, is there any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2022-32 for the sewage facility planning module for HIOSSEN?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, back to you, Ms. Gallagher.
Thank you. We did get some answers on the Lincoln Circle project. So this is within the budgeted amount, and this is also associated with the building renovation, so this will be reimbursed through the bond.
Okay,
Okay.
well, that helps. So this is item number 6 we're back at.
Number 5.
5. Oh, here it is. Any questions or comments for the, I mean, we're putting up a fence, there's not much to it. There's nobody to question, so if we're good with this, I'll ask for a motion to either approve or,
A move to approve?
It'd be the issuance of the notice of intent to award, and then that would enter the 30-day responsible contractor review period.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Yes. Aaron Mull.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Jeff Boraski.
Yes.
Jeff Dents.
Yes.
And I am yes.
And then item number 6 will be just us authorizing Mr. Tequita to finalize the award since the responsible contractor review would end before our next meeting.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that's assuming that they're successful in that review period.
Right. Is there a motion to approve item number 6?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that takes us to item number 8, appointments to various boards and commissions. Is there anyone interested in making an appointment tonight? No? All right. Item number 9 are the minutes from September 19th. Any corrections or questions? I wasn't at the meeting. If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstained since I wasn't here. Excellent minutes though, Mrs. Pullen, I'm sure. Item number 10, the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the month of September, you'll see that we received 1 new earth disturbance and 2 cell tower permit applications. Highlights are in red. I'll go through a few of them. The McGill composting facility, interestingly enough, this project was, I was going to remove this from the report multiple times. Didn't, and it looks like the land development agreements are being dusted off and the project's going to go to construction, which is good news. It's the project down on Tyburn Road, if you recall. North Point Phase 1 Building 1 is very close to constructing full site improvements. They were put on hold due to some erosion control issues they've had down there. We have had a pre-construction meeting, and that project will be full bore underway very soon. In terms of Lincoln Storage, we highlighted that because the sanitary sewer that was problematic on the hotel adjacent to the property was connected through partnering up with TOFA and the developer, so that's good news for those properties down there. They're now connected to public sewer. The Raising Cane's restaurant is now open. The North Point Phase 2, buildings 4, 5, and 6, we are at the finish line, at the 1-yard line on this project going to construction. We just received their last resubmission addressing our technical comments. All other things are in order, including development agreements. Again, pending a favorable inspection by the Conservation District, that building, at least one of the buildings will be under construction within the next couple of weeks. There aren't many updates to the earth disturbances. The Burger King is underway, and the Alliance Joffrey Venture, which is the raising of the Bucks County Courier Times building on Joffrey Road, is now under construction. And as far as the township projects, the 2021 to 23 road program, Elderberry Drive is substantially complete with wearing course going down as we speak. There are landscape contractors present on site, and that will be dealt with within the next couple of weeks. We're already working on our final punch list. And Pinewood Drive, the contracts were signed, and that project will be under construction again within the next couple of weeks. We'll see some mobilization, and I expect that the contractor will do most of the mill and overlay portion of the work right away. And we'll do, you know, our typical best to make sure that since we're coming into the winter months, we're not going to allow them to just, you know, dig up a lot of storm sewer improvements and leave them in bad shape for the holidays. So we'll watch that very close. My last update is for the Rice Drive culvert. I've changed the dates a couple of times we've been approved by this board to re-advertise, but since we're not going to build the improvements until next construction season, we felt it prudent to hold off on advertising so that when the contract's awarded, we won't have to have them wait to actually purchase materials and potentially have problems with cost increases. So we're gonna kick that down the road until December, advertise it then, and be ready to build in March.
All right, any questions for Mr. Jones? Anyone?
Yeah, we're still working on that, the park.
We're very close. I've been talking with Gilmore's engineers, and I've convinced them they can do the fill that they're doing if they change some of the floodplain elevations, which they can do, and instead of making alterations to the stream, I suggested that they just put armoring along the slopes. That way it won't be a stream adjustment and it won't require FEMA's approval, and they've agreed to that. So I would suspect next meeting, if it hasn't been built already, I'll be indicating that it's approved.
It's been about 10 years.
It's been a while.
Dangerous.
It's not bad.
Yeah, thank you.
For KA, the Wawa, the township rumor mill, everyone's saying that the township is holding up construction.
Township is not holding up construction. They transferred, so it was a little bit interesting. The KA at Fairless Hills was, I believe, the owner of the whole complex, who agreed to do a lot of the upfront improvements, which is what they've done and what you see now. And then Wawa brings their own contractors in to do the building and the fuel pumps. And the only delay that I know of is that they're in negotiating with that contractor. So it's a complete Wawa thing. And we're just waiting. The development agreements are in place and they've transferred over, so they've posted money. But now I think it's Speedwell Construction, they have to go on site, mobilize and start.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
No, I have none.
All right. I have none. Thank you. That takes us to the bill list. We have a bill list in the amount of $3,115,258.27. Over 1.1 million of that is open payroll. We have a payment to General Asphalt for the road program of a little over $500,000. A lot of escrows and so forth. Any questions or comments on the bill list?
No.
All right. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Aaron Mullen.
yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Jeff Boraski.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I am yes.
We had an executive session, Mr. We have to comment on? No, we did not. All right, that takes us to the police report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, looking back mostly to activity in September, we had 1,564 calls for service, of which 110 were accidents and 6 were overdoses. Of that 1,564 calls for service, 2 were pursuits, one on October 6th and one on October 10th, both involving motorcycles on the night shift. Our motor carrier enforcement officer is now back on duty. He was out for an extended period, so truck inspections can resume. There's a PennDOT aggressive driving wave coming up from October 24th to November 3rd. We can target areas such as Route 13 and Tyburn Road. Looking to our community outreach programs, we did a Love is the Answer mural event on September 17th. That's part of our ongoing commitment to working with the NAACP and Walking While Black Love is the Answer group. It was a well-attended event, and I believe Ms. Mullen was there, so thank you for coming out for that.
Thank you.
We launched a program where we're trying to develop a closer relationship with businesses in the community by kind of face-to-face visiting each business. That continues. I was out there again today visiting with business owners and management. We launched a program at our school district. Right now it's targeted in the mornings when the children arrive for school. This morning we were out at Eleanor Roosevelt, where we just kind of say hi to the kids and encourage them as they arrive for their school day and get them used to the idea of kind of seeing the police officers there in the morning when there's not any kind of issue, just an outreach program. We were invited to the Oxford Valley Mall to Color Me Mine for a pumpkin painting event with local children. We had a visit by a young man, a 22-year-old named Alex Mann, who's on the autism spectrum and has an interest in police departments. He's literally visited hundreds of police departments, and he added Falls Township to his list in September. I was invited to the Pennsbury Social Media Awareness Night, where it's an event for the community, and we discussed social media awareness, education, and information for both teachers and parents. And Fallsington Day was a really nice day this year. The weather was great. I know several of my officers were there off duty, and I was there with one of my kids walking around. It was very nice. I also had a meeting with the NAACP in Bucks County. We discussed enhancing the relationship between the police and the community and working together to end racism. This week, at the end of the week, we have Coffee with a Cop coming up. It's at Barnes & Noble on this Friday from 9 to 11. So I would invite anybody who watches the meeting or is here to attend. The shredding event and the drug take-back is coming up at the end of this month. Both events are on Saturday, October 29th. The shredding event is from 9 to 1, and the drug take-back is from 10 to 2 in the afternoon. Both will be here at headquarters. And coming up next month, Pennsbury High School and the department are hosting another Walking While Black Love is the Answer event on November 15th from 6 in the afternoon till 8:30. For anybody who doesn't know how those events work, AJ Ali is a documentary filmmaker. We watch the film together for about an hour and then break out into groups with members of the community. In each group is a police officer, and we kind of discuss our impressions of the film and the relationship between the police and the African-American community. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Chief Whitney. Mr. Takita's not here. He had one announcement. The leaf, I'm sorry. All right, there we go. I apologize. Thank you, Chief Whitney. Under manager comment, the only thing he had was leaf collection schedule, which is on the website, and we will put it on social media. October 29th, November 12th, and November 19th right now are the leaf collection dates. And that takes us to board comment. Mr. Galloway.
No comment this evening.
Mr. Boraski.
No comment, thank you, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Palmer.
Yeah, I had a couple follow-up questions to Chief Whitney. I know in the past we invested heavily into the body camera and police vehicle cruiser cameras. Can you tell us the status report? Because I've had a couple of residents come up to me and question it through our newsletter we put out. Are they, how are we making out with them?
Yes, unfortunately, the body cameras that we purchased have been on order all year. I asked for an ETA from the company. I've been told that they're anticipated to arrive here in early November. The remainder of the WatchGuard in-car camera systems are linked to that purchase. So we have enough in-car camera systems now to upfleet the entire front-facing fleet of police vehicles. However, the price for the body cameras is based on us turning in the microphones and microphone holder assemblies for those 14 WatchGuard units that we purchased as a discount in the purchase of the body cameras because you can't use both. So it's a significant amount of money, it's thousands of dollars. So we've been stuck waiting to install the rest of the cameras until the body cameras arrive.
And there's no ETA on that yet?
They said early November. They were no more specific than that, but I'll certainly keep an eye on it.
Okay. With some of the concerns we had, and sometimes we have staff shortages, do we have any ability to reach out to the state police and ask for assistance on Route 13, Tyburn Road, their state roads? Because I know other municipalities, smaller communities and urban communities, like out in Lancaster and whatnot, I have some dealings out there, and I see state troopers, always on the roads in that area. Through our community, I never see them unless they're going to, I think, Pennsbury Manor is the only time I ever see a state trooper in our area. Can you explain to people why that is? We don't see troopers on these roads versus municipal police officers.
Sure. We have in the past explored joint enforcement actions with the state police, in particular since they can run radar and we cannot. However, when the individuals who were part of that targeted enforcement, if anybody took a hearing, we had a hard time getting the troopers to come to court, so we ended up losing a lot of the citations that were written. The state police barracks, they're very helpful to us. They work with our detectives, and they do work with us, but they don't take a primary patrol responsibility in Falls Township because we do have our local police department here. It's not that they can't work with us, it's just that their staffing level is deployed on places like 95 and other communities that don't have 24/7 police coverage.
Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
All right. Only thing I have is you're going to notice we're all wearing pink tonight, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Some of us forgot to wear pink, Mr. Clark, right? I lost my own mother, and my cousin is a breast cancer survivor, so I wear pink for them. I'm sure everyone knows someone that's been affected by breast cancer. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion means all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.